Hi, my name's George P., and I am so honored to welcome you to episode 3 of a Guiding Light 911 podcast series. And we have a special treat for you today. We have the founder and originator of a Guiding Light 911, and which consists of a lot of, he has a Guiding Light books on Amazon, and I would highly recommend his autobiography and especially his 12-step workbooks for Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous. But he has others also. But with no further ado, I would like to invite you to this to appreciate and enjoy Dale P.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. I'm glad to be here. For the interview. What's the interview going to look like? What kind of questions you can ask me?
Well, I would like to have the audience hear and share some of your experience, strength, and hope especially working the 12 steps, which I have worked, and you have too, with success at this point in time in our life, and the way I look at it, if Dell and I can do it, if we can do it, anybody can have success. We came from a very dysfunctional family, and we were abusing all kinds of different things, alcohol, drugs, what have you. So, Dale,
Go ahead.
What got you? Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah. So what was it like out there drinking and using? I was married, and I we would go out to karaoke, we'd go out to bars, we'd do all that stuff. And I really didn't have any problem with the drinking, and I didn't do drugs except for smoking pot, And, marriage was a good thing for me because it kept me in check. We would go out and we'd drink, and we'd always have this agreement that if one of us was going to drink too much, then the other one was going to stop drinking because we were driving.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, it was a pretty good plan, and it worked pretty well. I'd see her, partying and drinking a lot, and I'd go, oh, well, I better stop,
I wish that was me.
But, on and off. I mean, sometimes I would, indulge a little bit too much, and she would stop drinking, because she would be the one to have to drive. So,
what a team.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good, situation, and like I said, marriage was a very good thing for me. To the divorce. So when we got divorced, things were very different. Because now I didn't have anyone to check, whether I was drinking too much, and I was the only one who'd be going to be driving anyway. So
didn't have anybody to keep you in line.
Yeah, I had no one to monitor my drinking and the level of my drinking. As well, when I got divorced, I started using cocaine, and you know how it is. I mean, you
all too well.
When you first start out, it's great. You love it.
Oh yeah.
Things are great, and then you get into that progression of the addiction, the disease. I believe.
So great.
Yeah, I believe that us alcoholics and addicts, we suffer from an underlying emotional and mental disorder. And the drinking and the drug use is really just a symptom. It's a symptom of that unrest. And so the unrest inside of me, really came out when I got divorced, because here now I'm alone. It brings back all those feelings of being abandoned, being neglected, feeling unloved, all those things, all those feelings. And so the drinking and the drug use was an attempt to deal with that, deal with those emotions, deal with those feelings. And for a while it worked, because there's that whole partying thing. You go out, you have a good time. My main reason for going out and having a good time was hopefully to get laid.
That was the goal.
To be honest, I think that's probably describes a lot of people's drug and alcohol use.
Describes mine.
Yeah, so
to a T.
Yeah, so anyways, yeah, it was good. I was making good money, still maintaining my job. I had a job.
You were functioning.
Yeah, I was a senior programmer analyst at a company, and it was really a cakewalk, because I had so much experience that really that position probably only required 4 or 5 years and of experience, and I had over 30.
If I could mention something, us as your family, as just general observers, we would have never known anything was wrong. We were just thinking, wow, Bill is just really, he's so successful. He owns his own home, swimming pool, jacuzzi, good job, nothing's wrong. We didn't see anything wrong.
Yeah, and that's while I was married. I mean, it things were good. I wasn't using cocaine then. I really wasn't, drinking the hard liquor like I did when, after I got divorced. Just to give you an idea of the kind of drinking that I was involved with. I was at the bar one day, and a friend came in, and he challenged me to the dice game Boss. Okay? and the winner got a free shot.
Oh, that's just what you needed.
Yeah. So I was drinking the Fireball. We love the Fireball shots.
I don't even know what a Fireball is.
Yeah, okay. It's like a cinnamon whiskey, kind of sweet, but had a kick, So anyways, I beat him 8 times in a row.
Unfortunately.
So I got 8 free shots right in a row. And oh my God, man, I was lit. I was completely lit. And so to move along, at that point I'm like, I probably should go home, I'm pretty messed up at this point.
If you can make it home.
Yeah, so I get a ride from the guy, my friend that bought me all the shots, and I had there was a situation between my friend and I where I didn't like him because he did some things to a girlfriend of mine, and I didn't like that. So
underhanded.
Yeah, so I kind of had some resentments. Well, now here I am drunk, and I'm
Depending on
driving. He's giving me a ride home, and he actually had two other friends. That one was driving, and the other one was sitting in the back seat with me. So there was four of us in this car.
How'd you get there? Your Harley? Were you on a Harley? Or
I may have.
So you depended on them to bring your Harley back?
No, not.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember.
Everything's
I may have just left the car there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so we're on the way home, and the whole time I'm pestering this guy. I'm really pushing him, and finally they stop, and he gets out of the car. I get out of the car, and we start going at it.
Oh.
And I guess he landed a good punch. Of course, I'm oblivious to what's going on. And I fall back and supposedly hit my head on the street, on the curb. And, that was it. I was out. Well, okay, so they get back in the car and they take off. So when I come to and I gain my awareness, I'm just completely covered in blood. I mean, blood down my face, blood down my shirt. I mean, I've just got blood everywhere, right? Because I'm bleeding from the face, I'm bleeding from my head, So, the bad scene. So the ambulance is there, the police is there, and the policeman comes up to me and he goes, Dale, he says, what happened?
Death warrant over.
And I looked up at him and I said, I don't talk to police.
Oh, not that night anyway, huh?
Because, I couldn't remember how much cocaine I had in my pocket, all this.
Yeah.
So anyways, get to the hospital, long story short, I get bandaged up. I'm laying in the hospital bed and the cop had gone through my pants and found a bundle of cocaine.
Oh.
But he was looking at it like this and kind of shaking it to see if there was enough there to charge me.
To test.
So fortunately there wasn't.
Lucky you.
So hey, drinking was great. That was a fun night, right?
Right.
Nah.
Which became probably normal.
Yeah.
Eventually.
So that's what it was like for me.
Wow.
I went through 3 DUIs, crashed my Harley. I had a guy follow me home. Well, actually, he helped me get back on my Harley after I crashed, and then he followed me home and called 911.
Wow.
So
things were becoming unmanageable.
yeah. So
To say the least.
yeah, definitely. And the progression, I just nothing like when I was married, for sure. I can't remember a time when I drank too much when I was married. And I was married for 10 years.
When you were married, she was keeping you in line.
Yeah.
Now
yeah.
Johnny Law was keeping you in line.
Yeah. and the policeman inside my head wasn't doing shit.
Laws don't apply to you.
Yeah,
That's
he
what
was.
your thinking was.
Yeah, he was retired or off duty or something.
Yeah, definitely one or the other, or both.
Yeah. So So anyways, that was that.
Wow.
That was what it was like.
That's where you become.
Yeah.
You reached your breaking point.
Yes.
Decision-making point. I got to do something about this.
So.
Which we all reach
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Any next question?
Next question is, let me see. I got some notes here. How long were you functioning like that? You say about 10 years or so?
Well, 10 years in marriage, but when I got divorced, it only took me months.
Okay. That's what I was wondering.
Get to that kind of
To cave in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just quickly progressed into...
Oh, yeah. yeah, it probably took me, 5 or 6 months maybe.
Well, I'm glad this all came out because I
Yeah.
wasn't aware of that,
Yeah.
those situation like that, of what happened and stuff.
Right. Right. So what happened and what got me to, a point of looking at myself, looking at my behavior, this kind of stuff.
And saying I got a problem.
Yeah, I got a
serious
problem. I need to do something about it.
Right.
And that was, I went to jail, lost my job because I had 3 DUIs, and
everything else, huh?
yeah, and so I ended up, I lived in a crack house for a while with some guys, and it was just party on every night, every day.
How long did you last there?
Probably about a year, maybe.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that is a long time. That goes to show that
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, we had a guy one time showing up at the crack house with a gun and a ski mask and demanding that we bring his wife down. And his wife was upstairs with us partying, and
he was serious.
oh yeah, he had a gun.
Right.
So he grabbed another girl and had the gun to her head and said, "Oh, I'm going to shoot her if you don't bring her down right now." I'm not going to say her name.
Right.
And so my roommate, guy who owned the house, he grabbed a shotgun and he's at the top of the stairs. And just at one point, the person he had in a headlock, she ducked down and got out of the headlock.
Well, that was a good move.
Yeah, and so he's like, oh, I don't have
right
leverage anymore.
Where's my shield?
So he points the gun at my roommate with the shotgun, and my roommate
The
with the
rest is
shotgun,
history.
bam,
Oof. And
shot him.
with a shotgun, you don't miss.
Yeah, right. You
Something usually hits you.
Yeah, something's gonna get hit.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So, chaos ensued, and he left, and someone that, because he used to be a friend of ours. Everybody knew him, and so someone gave him a ride to the hospital, and meanwhile, someone had called 911, and everything that had happened was on the 911 recording because whoever called 911
they were on the phone?
Just left the phone open.
Wow.
Okay, so everything was recorded. Well, so when the police showed up, they took everybody, started questioning everybody. The questioning lasted 4 hours. And so, yeah, they, talked about everything that happened. They knew everything that happened.
Right.
And so that was kind of the end of our partying at that house.
I bet you.
Because now all the cops in the neighborhood know
Right.
what's going on at this house.
Yeah, there was no denying it at that point.
I mean, we probably had 8 or 9 people partying there that night.
Wow.
And that was a typical night. So, anyway, let's see.
I would say you're lucky to be alive, Bill.
Yeah, so we're about at 20 minutes.
You got some kind of guardian angel or something looking over you.
Yeah.
I mean, just over and over again. You just
I was seriously afraid of being shot that night.
It easily could have gone sour.
Yeah, it could have gone way bad.
Way different.
Yeah. I had myself barricaded in my room. I had the dresser up against the drawer, and the mattresses up.
Yeah. When a shotgun's being shown, man, I mean, let me get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere, anywhere but here.
So that was crazy.
It's almost like having a hand grenade in the room. It can hit just about anything. Wow, Dale. I'm just it's amazing to me that you were able to come through all that and just be where you're at today without any serious side effects like health-wise, getting shot, losing a limb, whatever. I mean, all kinds of things could have happened. So I for one am so happy and delighted to see you have what do you have right now? Like 4 years of clean and sober, and adding to it one day at a time. So at this time, we'd like to take a little short break, and we'll be back real soon with Dale P. and sharing more of his experience, strength, and hope. Hi. Well, I'd like to welcome you all back to A Guiding Light 911 and episode 3. And we have Dale P. here sharing his experience, strength, and hope. And Dale, when we last you were sharing about how you would how the house you were living in got raided, and sounds like a pretty dramatic, life-changing event. Can you kind of pick up and elaborate on what happened there?
Well,
afterwards?
Yeah, from there, our, we kind of toned the sales down. We didn't have that many sales, and the owner of the house decided to move on and sell that house, and so here I was now. I didn't have a place to stay, and my drug use was so bad that I was pretty much unemployable, and I lost whatever job that I had, and so I ended up on the street. I ended up homeless, and lived on the streets of Fresno. It's no pretty thing. I went to Paparillo House, and it was like walking through the Day of the Dead.
I can only imagine.
And there are just tents everywhere, everybody just wandering on the streets, and it smelled like rotten food and gutter smells. There was blood on the sidewalks, and it was just horrible, really horrible. And I walked through that and I saw all that, and I was like, what the hell am I doing here?
Right.
How did I get here?
Exactly.
And so, at that point, I was like, okay, maybe going into rehab's not a bad idea at this
really
point. And so, so I ended up going to rehab, checked myself into rehab, and
you did it on your own?
Yeah, I just walked in there and said, hey, everybody, counselors, whoever you are, I need your help. And so, they started out, I think they gave me 60 days and then, later decided that I probably needed 90 days. And so I went through that program and graduated. And one of the best things that I got out of that was that they had a rec room where on the wall they had the 12 steps of NA printed in big, large letters all the way across the wall.
Nice.
So I went in there and I started out, I would go in there because breakfast was around 6:15, 6:30. So I was always up around 5. Get up, I'd get my coffee, and I'd go sit in that room. So as I'm sitting in that room, I'm reading those 12 steps. And this was every day I would do this. And then eventually I had the idea, hey, I'll start a meeting. Because other people could benefit from this. And
Nice.
So people would come around and I'd say, hey, let's start a meeting. And we started a meeting. And it was a meeting all centered around those 12 steps. And we'd start the meeting by everybody reading a step. And we'd just go around the room. Okay, read this first step, read the second step, We'd go around the room like that, and then we'd open it up for discussion. And I had, literature with me and whatnot, AA literature. So, going through that program was very beneficial for me. I learned the steps, and if I can, I'd like to just say what I learned, and that is the 12 steps. Number 1, we admitted we were powerless over our addiction, that our lives have become unmanageable. Number 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us our sanity. Number 3, made a decision to turn our will and lives over the care of God as we understood Him. Number 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. Number 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. Number 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Number 7, humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. Number 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Number 9, make direct amends to such people wherever possible, except wherever possible. I don't know.
Except for where it do harm.
Yeah, except
Where it might do harm to the.
Yeah. Would injure them or others. Okay. Number 10, continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. Number 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. And number 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to other alcoholics, addicts, overeaters, and to practice these principles in all our affairs.
Which is what you're doing on a daily basis.
So that's what I got out of that program
That's amazing, Bill.
Was every day I would go over those steps in the morning. And when I left the program, every day in the morning, I would go over those steps. I remember driving to work, driving from Visalia to Fresno, and just going over those steps, in my head.
Right, just working on daily.
Yeah, and so except for the ninth step, I know all the steps.
Well, yeah,
I kind of stumbled on that ninth step.
But,
Hey, progress, not perfection, right?
I've heard you recite those without any problem many times. So I know it's just the adrenaline of being on video right
I'm
now.
I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, a little bit nervous, and which I'm sure the audience can pick up on me. I've never been an interviewer before, so I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
And but I'm telling you what, if my life depended on it, I couldn't recite. I know the generality of the steps.
Right.
I've worked them many times, attempted to work them many times in my life, but I could never recite them word verbatim like you're capable of doing.
Right.
So
Okay, so getting out of the program, my cousin kind of took me in, Gary, and kind of gave me a place to stay there for a while and helped me get back on my feet. So
nice.
So I continued to go to meetings. I didn't practice the program perfectly, but it's progress, not perfection.
Exactly.
And so from there, I was able to get into this program where they pay for your housing, they pay for a room and board for you, and so I was able to get into a room and board, and over time, my thoughts started clearing up, and my thinking started getting clearer, and that fog started going away, and I could sometimes, a lot of times, I feel sorry for myself, I should be doing better. I should have a better place to live. I should this and I should that, and I, at one point, I just said, you know what? I'm going to focus on what I could do, and how I could give back, because this program has really saved my life, And so I sat down one day and I decided to write an autobiography. And so I wrote this book. I named it A Guiding Light, Navigating Abuse, Alcoholism, and Addiction. And
which
so,
I've read and I highly recommend.
Yeah, and so that book, I put it out there, put it on Amazon, and you have certain expectations. You think, oh man, I'm gonna make millions off of this.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Not one sale.
Yeah. Right. Who is this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is this?
You gotta
guy?
have name recognition.
Yeah.
And everything.
Yeah.
So,
or a lot of money to advertise.
Right.
Put it out there.
Yeah.
So there again, I started feeling sorry for myself. But
right.
why aren't people buying this book? It's a great book.
You don't know about it.
And so instead of giving up and feeling sorry for myself again, I asked myself, what can I do to help other people? Because that's my whole goal. I don't care about the money. I want to help people, maybe just one person a day, because the thing about helping other people is you never know what that other person's going to do as a result of you helping them. You have no clue.
Right.
I mean, they could turn their lives around. They could start another family and just have all this, demonstration and fruit that came from that day that you sat down and you helped them.
Right.
So I asked myself, well, what can I do? So that's when I sat down and I wrote A Guiding Light workbook.
The 12-step guide.
Yeah, the 12-step guide, exactly. And I did one for AA, I did one for ANA, and I did one for OA.
Highly recommended.
And coming soon is one for GA.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
So I know
So
a lot of people with that problem.
yeah. So I put that out there. Started, I started making sales.
Yeah, if I don't mind mentioning,
Yeah.
I've looked at his 12-step guide to Narcotics Anonymous and Alcoholics Anonymous, and others. And Dale takes every step, and he adds a question that incentivizes the worker of the steps to look deeply into what each step means to them personally. And it's just an amazing workbook. I don't know how you came up with all that, Bill, but I'm just amazed. There's only word I can use for it of what you've been able to provide to as the 12th step, the 12 steps.
Right. And I think it's really the demonstration of how God has worked in my life, and how I've been able to apply the steps to my life. So I've taken that and basically put it out there in
The action.
helping other people do the same.
You sure are.
And have the same kind of growth, have the same kind of realizations and inspiration and motivation. So yeah.
Well earned.
Yeah, and then also I put out there another book, which is the Daily Journal.
Oh yeah.
I did one for A. So it has inspirations. It has daily inspirations to kind of help kickstart your journaling. If you're one that likes to journal, I'd recommend this book. It has a lot of good stuff in it.
Yeah, it's really nice. I've never had a diary ever, and but I found myself making little comments in here,
Mm-hmm.
and
I think
whatever
it helps.
it's worth.
It helps to, when you write something down, your brain is taking that information and really, it's processing that information in a different way when you write it down or when you talk to somebody about it.
Right.
So it's really a diary kind of, I would liken to, sharing with other people or talking to another person.
Right.
Of course we
Kind of like the 4-step or something.
Yeah, we encourage people to go to meetings and talk about, and talk and share their experience, strength, and hope.
Have you ever thought of starting a meeting over here, by say?
No, I mean, at this point, no, because I feel like, what can I do that can best help other people?
The books.
In the best possible way that I know how.
Right.
How can I reach a number of people? So I'm really just focusing on these books and getting the word out and letting I'm working with recovery homes, with counselors at recovery homes, and getting feedback from them, and it's a whole process of learning and improving. Feedback is a very valuable commodity, and so I hope to just make the books better, and and then in turn help other people better.
Well, with your creative abilities, I'm sure you're going to have no problem expanding on what you've already done. I can see that already.
Yeah,
I'm like, wow, where'd you come from? Oh, I've known you all my life, and all of a sudden you're just an author of all these books, and I miss you a couple years out of your life, and next thing you know, you're a prolific author, and getting serious about working these steps, more serious than anybody else I've ever known. That's as far in the 12-step program.
Yeah, I mean it's important for sure.
Nobody I know is taking it to this level. Well, I'd like to take this time to thank you for being an interviewee. And I probably wasn't the best interviewer,
Hey,
but yeah, I did the best I could.
I thank you for being here and volunteering to do this.
You're welcome.
I hope this video gets out there and gets the word out, and in turn, helping people, encouraging
Right, that's
people
what we want to do.
encouraging people to take a look at themselves, take an honest look, and if they have a problem with any of these addictions, there's help. There's things that they can do. They can go to meetings, they can talk to a sponsor, and they can grow through literature.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I come in. I'm providing some literature. Obviously, there's all kinds of other literature out there, some better than mine, and some maybe not as good as mine, but it's the main thing. Even if I wrote the worst workbook in the world, at least it's encouraged someone to work the steps.
Well, I'm telling you, you set the bar really high on that workbook.
So
really well
yeah,
done.
so I mean that's the way I look at it. It's an encouragement for someone to sit down and go over these steps again and really take a deeper look.
Exactly.
More in depth. Maybe having questions in the book that they've never had asked before.
I know I didn't think of any of those questions.
Yeah, and so it's a different perspective.
It is. Adds a lot of insight to each step.
Yeah.
And you provide that in the workbook. And it's, in closing, I'd like to again thank Bill for being willing to be an interviewee here at the ever so soon to be famous episode 3 of the Guiding Light 911 podcast series.
So hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, hit that subscribe
Smash
button.
that like button.
Yeah, exactly.
And stay tuned for more episodes of A Guiding Light 911.